You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media, all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That young man out there is...
Hi everyone, I'm Felipe Deheria and I'm in Essex, England.
Felipe is our UK correspondent, our TJ in the UK. Hey,
That's
uh,
a new one, you just made that
that's a
up,
new
didn't
one.
you?
I just made that up. I really did. I just made it off the cuff, right?
Gonna write
Uh,
that down.
but today, off the cuff, Felipe and I are going to taste something that is just making its way into the U.S. It's called Sotol Mayor. Now, again, for transparency's sake, this is considered artisanal, which means that they're borrowing the nomenclature, the tradition that mezcal has put together. And this Sotol, just to be safe and for full transparency, Felipe and I had our first taste of Bacanora together. I have had Sotol because Sotol is very popular in the Southwest. Not too many brands there when I was first tasted them, but now there are. Now there are more and more coming onto the market, and I guess this one is also available in the UK. But this is your first try, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I've not had Sotol before.
Ah, so we're gonna taste the juice and then tell you all the ins and outs later. But I'm going to use my Stasel Jarrito, which again I use for mezcal and for higher ABV. This, I believe, is, let me see what the ABV is like. And you are using your handy dandy Glencairn. The ABV on this one is coming in at,
I've got
uh,
44.
uh, I can't find it. What's it say?
44.
Oh, 44. Yeah. So tolls are most, there it is, 44 ABV. That's 88 proof. For those of you who are, mathematically not inclined, like me. But this is a generally considered. Oh, I got some nice bubbles. Oh, look at that! I love to look for bubbles. Um, that's it's not necessarily a sign of quality, but it is a sign of care and a higher ABV as well. They are using it looks like some kind of composite cork. They have a logo on the top of the cork here. Um, Now, Sotol is from a plant known as the Daslerian. But there are three different strains from which Sotol can be made. Um, the ones that I've enjoyed in the past are made with Daslerian Wheelery. Those are the ones that are readily available in the Southwest. You've seen Sotol. If you've ever been to the United States, you've ever been to Southern California, you'll see them on the mountainside. People use them for ground cover. You'll see them as landscaping. They don't require a lot of water, but they are a desert plant. And in fact, they're called desert spoon. That's the general name for these. This particular strain, now that Sipping Off the Cuff has had several sotols from not only you can make sotol from three different regions, three different states in Mexico: Chihuahua, Durango, and what's my other one?
Well, the one I can't pronounce now. Coahuila?
Yeah,
Coahuila.
Coahuila or Coahuila
Gua.
or Coahuila.
No
There
sé,
it goes. There, it's my 14th time.
no sé la palabra.
Yeah, I know. This one is the plant is Daslerian leophyllum. Leophyllum. Now, the last time I had this strain of Sotol, I had it with Eric, and you probably have seen that video where he and I had one that was infused with snake. It was con víbora. It was spectacular. If you haven't seen that video, you should watch it, because if you've ever heard of snake oil, that's snake oil, but there's no real snake in it. Anyway, this is now that I've had them from all three states. I can tell you that the strain of the plant does make a difference, as well as the hand of the maker. So it's very much like mezcal. And this one, let's see what we got. Now we're going to give you the look and the feel. I will tell you that it is using a real cork, so don't be surprised if you get a couple of floaties. It happens It's not a bad thing. You can the cork won't kill you, but if you can pluck it out, with your fingertip, you'll be okay. But there are no impurities in the liquid itself. Okay. So when you see something floating in it, it's going to be the cork. It's not going to be the plant or any residue. Um, wow. Now this is a bit thinner. I'm getting some runny tears and legs. Um,
It
different.
streaks quite a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's I'm that's again, it's not bad to see. It's what's good to see is that it's reacting naturally. Unlike some tequilas where you'll see glycerin is used as an additive, which is legal in tequila. Um, when you are talking about an artisanally made product, they don't do that. That's just not, you know. Unless you're an industrially made mezcal, which is a category within the category, but you'll know where that's coming from because it's like mezcal from Zacatecas. We actually had one it's basically made with blue agave in the way that tequila is made, but because it comes from Zacatecas, you can't call it tequila. They call it mezcal, and it's an industrial version. Um, yeah, I know I'm getting into the geekiness here, but let's see what it smells like, though. I want to see what you're getting out of it. Ooh, wow,
Hey,
wow, that's minty.
it's another one, eh?
No, but that's even stronger. By the way, no alcohol burn at all. Nothing.
No.
I'm not even getting smokiness. We didn't get any background material on this. What we did get were serving suggestions, which was really interesting. Wow, this has almost got a menthol rush on it. Are you getting any of that?
It's definitely got the menthol. I'm wondering if there's a hint of vanilla in there somewhere.
I don't know. I think it's being. I've never. The Leophyllum is an interesting plant because I've had it at higher ABVs. I have had it infused with snake, but and I've even had it. I think I've had one version of Sotol that was triple distilled with this plant. I think, and every time I taste this plant, it's different. This particular variety of Daslerian is really, it's an odd fellow.
It's very peppermint, but not chewing gum peppermint.
No,
It's
no.
too. Is it vegetal?
Well, we
It's like I was.
we
Sorry, go
just
ahead.
put the seal on this minutes ago. So, I mean, it's been sitting at room temp for a couple of weeks at least. I think it's the kind of plant where if it opens up more, you get more. It starts to reveal itself.
It's more like the smoke, the mint smell. It's more from the stalk than the leaf.
Okay,
The mint.
I'll
It's
buy
not.
that. Yeah. Wow, that's a surprise to me. We gotta dive in, man, because hey, maybe it's minty. I don't know. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, yeah. Wow, that is a full body. Oh my God. And then after you swallow it, it's like it continues to react on the palate. For me, anyway.
Yeah, that's got a long finish, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's almost like all the action isn't all the action isn't quarantined in one place. It's not just on the intake, but once you swallow it, it continues to react on your palate.
Yeah. It's like I've got like a bite on the tongue.
Yeah, a spiciness, a hot
Mm.
pepper, like a hot pepper. But it's like a building hot pepper, like when you have a really good habanero, in a salsa,
Mm.
and it's a growing heat.
Yeah, the tip of my it is almost a chili. The
Yeah,
sensation, but without the flavour.
yeah, exactly. Wow.
It's very easy on the back of the throat,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it? It's the,
Mm, mm, mm. I do a lot of retronasal while I have the liquid on my palate, on my tongue, and the retronasal allows me to get more of the Sotol plant that I'm familiar with. There's a familiarity for me now that I've had several that I'm getting, but once you swallow, this is this really keeps on giving.
it's very little alcohol.
Yeah, and I got a hint of smoke, but not a lot.
No.
It's almost non-existent. As a matter of fact, I will say that when Eric and I tasted the Vibora, which is made with the same plant, there was hardly any smoke, but because for some reason at every pass it would accumulate more and more on your palate, and then that's when the smoke revealed itself.
Mm.
So it wasn't like immediately. Um, it's almost it wasn't immediately available to your palate. It had to go through several passes before it starts to reveal itself to you.
Also, it's given me a sensation in the chest like I've had, like it's carbonated.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
know?
Yeah.
But it's not.
Oh,
Obviously, it's not. But I'm sitting there, I'm feeling it, and it's just really refreshing. Do you know? There's really good refresh to that. But yeah, it is like you've gulped some lemonade or something.
yeah.
That
Well,
yeah.
what's popular these days is tequila and soda. We're seeing a lot of ready to drinks that come in a can with tequila and soda.
Mm.
We've um, tried several last year in 2020. There's more coming in 2021. We just did a couple of tastings for that, and I honestly, as you said, refreshing. This would be a great with a Sotol and soda, like with in the United States. There's a soda that was very popular in Mexican culture called Topo Chico, which I think was finally sold. It's now an American company. But Topo Chico is kind of a lime, kind of like a Mexican Perrier. Okay, it's
Right.
got
Okay.
a Perrier thing to it, but it generally is great for like mixing with palomas and things like this. This would be a great. This would be great as maybe with grapefruit juice or something, right?
Oh, do you know, I was going to say
And some
that.
soda.
Yeah. So I'm just doing
Because
myself
yeah,
another one.
by it. No, go ahead. By itself, it is quite refreshing. See, this is again. I love to see firsthand reaction, especially from a guy like him who's got a real depth in his palate. But these are just coming on board into the UK, and I have heard of it in the United States. But first of all, if I haven't done it already, I must thank um, Dr. Sours, the bitters company that's based in Mexico, but they export into the UK. So anybody who's used Dr. Sours, they also handle this item here, Sotol Mayor at 44 ABV. It is an artisanal Sotol. And Sotol is a Daslerian Leophyllum. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct because my binomial nomenclature is bad. Uh,
You managed to say no, nomen.
binomial nomenclature.
Yeah,
Uh,
that you said that all right.
yeah, I said that okay because it's Latin, right? This should be Latin, but oh well. Anyway, I'm not a botanist, but there is a lot number on this, and they depending on who the importer is, you'll get a hand of the maker. I don't know who that is, but it is our friend out in Laredo, Texas, made this happen for us here in the U.S. That is WT Imports, World Trade Imports in Laredo, who's responsible for Rejon Tequila. If you haven't seen that review, you should find it. That is a stellar tequila. This is hecho en Chihuahua, so it's from the state of Chihuahua. They do come from 3 different states. This is Chihuahuense, and still from Sotol, Leophyllum. So the one that I'm more familiar with, and that I have a real soft spot in my heart, is the Dazzlery and Wheelery. It is called the Desert Spoon. If you've ever traveled into the U.S., especially in the southwestern United States, California, Texas, Nevada, Arizona, particularly Arizona, you'll see this everywhere. They use it as ground cover, they use it as landscaping, but it makes a hell of a drink. What do you think? Do you like it?
I like it. I'm trying to think what I could put it with. Do you know, like a grapefruit? You need some proper citrus. I'm not too sure how well orange would work with it, but definitely the grapefruit. Something bitter, like the orange, and put some bitters in it. Do you know?
Oh yeah, some Dr. Sours. You know,
hey, coffee. A coffee like a.
A coffee. Oh, okay.
A coffee.
The weird thing is with Dr. Sours, when they wrote to us, I actually contacted them for their Siglo Cero Posh, which we're going to taste here on Sipping Off the Cuff, our first time together. But what I got from Dr. Sours was I got some food pairing suggestions, which was really interesting. I didn't get much more information than that, but I love the fact that they made that available to us. But anyway, food pairing, you know, when it comes to food pairing and with Mexican spirits, you know, you use stuff like tomatillo, you know, tomatoes. Like, for instance, we just had a mezcal that would be great. We talked about basil. It would be great with, like, tomatoes, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe even Italian food. You were talking about using it as an aperitif, you know, between meals or prior to meals. I can see that. I do. With this one, when you said it was refreshing, and the way it has that hot pepper that keeps reacting on your palate, I think you know, with a soda, with Topo Chico, with maybe a Perrier, I can see that happening. I can see it with a, you know, grapefruit juice. Wow.
You know,
I don't know what else to say.
All I can think of is something. Is it like an espresso martini?
Ooh.
But with that.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm thinking of.
Wow, you are evil.
I'm good little Catholic.
If you make a cocktail, tag us, because I want it. You know, it's interesting because I was talking in one of the previous tasting that Alex and I tasted Ricea, and it was one Ricea where it was almost gin-like, and he said, you know what I would do is this: anything that you can make with gin, I would replace that with this Ricea. So I see where you're headed with that. Anything you could, if you're looking for a coffee martini, right? Mm-hmm. You would replace whatever the base liquid is with this. I think you're onto something.
I think I'd love to see. I'll make one.
Well, there you go.
I'm still trying to perfect the tequila masu, because I love tiramisu.
Oh, tequila masu.
Yeah.
Hey, that'll work too.
It could work with this actually.
Well, if you perfect it, take a picture. It never happened. Folks, what do you think? Grand Promise nominee?
I like it. Yeah.
Grand Promise nominee. That is in the Sotol category. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our take on Sotol Mayor. I do believe it is now becoming available in the United States. There is an importer in Texas that can make it happen for you. If you're watching us in Tejas, my old stomping grounds, maybe San Antonio, go pick this up. It is a substantial but I would say at this point mixable Sotol, and I'm really impressed every time I have this plant. This is a very versatile plant. This strain of Sotol is very versatile. I don't even know if I'm using the right.
It's
Again,
it's gonna make me look for other ones. I think the market is different in the UK than out there, but I will look for other ones. If I take that
as your
base level,
as your bar, yeah.
yeah.
I agree. I think because I have a bar for my Sotol primarily with Daslerian Wheelery, because the Wheelery for me smells like the desert Southwest. If you've ever lived in the desert Southwest, I spent 15 years, it's 13 to 15 years in New Mexico. You know when you say something like smells like rain, and there's no rain in sight. But in the desert Southwest, you understand what that means because you can smell rain before it hits the ground. It evaporates, and it's that smell. And that's what Daslerian Wheelery for me is like. Texanum is something different. I've had that also. This one here is a surprise. This strain of Daslerian is really interesting because it's versatile. It keeps changing its characteristic.
Mm.
So anyway, that's our take. Sotomayor, thank you. You've been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Please subscribe to us. If you're listening to us on Spotify, download it. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the notification bell, give us a like, subscribe as well, and whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely, my friends.